Welcome to the Beyond the Vines podcast, where I interview local business owners in Sonoma County to highlight small business and grow our community. I'm your host, Amy Ehlers, a mom, realtor, and Sonoma County native, and I'm excited to connect you to some amazing people in this beautiful area that we call home. Welcome back to the Beyond the Vines podcast. I am here today with a good friend of mine, Rebecca Smith with Complete Performance Coaching. Rebecca Smith is the founder of Complete Performance Coaching and the Perform Happy online mental training program based in Petaluma, California. With a master's degree in sports psychology and over 20 years of coaching experience, Rebecca is a high-performance coach who helps young athletes overcome fear, build lasting confidence, and thrive under pressure. As a former gymnast herself, she's turned her own challenges into a mission to make youth sports healthier and more empowering. Through online programs, her top-rated podcasts, and in-person camps, she supports young athletes, their parents, and coaches all over the world. And with that, I welcome Rebecca.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much for coming. I know I've had to pick your brain recently because we have a lot of athletes in our house, and I know we all face like the challenges with this. So I was so excited when I suddenly realized like you would be great on this podcast.
Well, I'm so glad. And I don't even think of myself as a local business because it's all virtual.
True. Okay.
And so I sit in my local Petaluma office and talk to people literally all over the world.
Amazing.
And it feels like a treat when there's a real human I can talk to in person or a real child in Petaluma.
Oh, so cool.
So I'm really grateful for Redwood Empire Gymnastics plug for them because once a month I get to go in and do groups with the kids, and
that's amazing.
And then I observe their practices, and I get to be in the moment with them, watching the body language, and then just kind of like sneaking over and being like, "Hi, what were you thinking on that turn?"
Oh, that's cool. I didn't realize you did that. What a great idea.
Yeah.
That's so great that they see the value in that as well.
It's been this incredible relationship the last 6 years. I have watched these little kids grow, and to see one of their little ones who was on their rec team now get third place at one of the most prestigious high-level competitions. It's just been like such a dream to watch.
Wow, that's incredible. I love your social media too. I actually saved one of your posts the other day. It was about like the car conversations afterward. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, that one I'm going to need to be able to pull out because this just happened on Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's such great info. So let's dive into this info a little bit more. What inspired you to start Complete Performance Coaching, and why was your path to this work?
So I was 12 years old. I was the kid shaking uncontrollably on the beam. I was the kid freezing up and looking behind me and fixing my hair and wiping my sweat and getting more chalk and had to go to the bathroom. And I just was like, there's something that happens in kids that are, I would say, on the smarter end of things. Where they're just so aware of everything that could go wrong at all times. I have 2 of them in my house. And everything was hard for me, but I loved it. I was too tall and too old and too scared, but I didn't care. Everyone said, do volleyball, or you would be a great dancer. And I was like, but I want to do gymnastics. So then I went to a camp, and there was a sports psychologist there, had us all lay down across the floor, close our eyes, take deep breaths, and imagine doing a skill that they'd always wanted to do, but were too scared. And I did it in my mind, and that week I did it on the beam.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm sold. I want to be a sports psychologist. Done.
Yeah.
And through, meandering paths, I ended up back at it after a lot of gymnastics coaching.
Yeah.
The light bulb went off and I was like, oh yeah. And I went back to school and started that. Now it's been 10 years since I graduated with my master's.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I love it. I love that you felt that as a kid too, because I think then your clients can really relate to that. You're not just like giving them information. You've been there. I remember when we had conversations too, you described it to me as they feel like they're actually being chased by a bear, know? And so like that helps me realize like what's happening. And so you felt it yourself.
Yes, that's honestly my biggest strength. Yeah. And what draws me to this is that I am healing my inner 14-year-old every single day.
Yes.
And there are so many, even post-COVID, I read a statistic that 1 in 4 adolescents are showing either clinical anxiety or clinical depression.
Yep.
It went up, through the roof. And so not every kid's going to be like, Mom, take me to therapy.
Totally.
But kids will be like, Mom, my swing is acting up in baseball. How do I help with that? Or I'm afraid to go backwards on the beam. And so then these kids are like, okay, I want a performance coach who then teaches them how to overcome anxiety.
Amazing.
In this way that makes sense to a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
And then they have these skills on the other side where they know how to handle fear. They know how to handle rejection, disappointment, which then just makes them so much stronger as athletes. But I'm like, we Trojan horse in these life skills.
That is like my biggest thing. And I know you and I have talked about this as well. It's like my girls are all incredible dancers. My stepson's an incredible football player. Chances are they're not going to be professionals, right? But like the skills they're learning right now, like those are going to play into their whole lives forever, you know? Yes. And even just the time management of like keeping up with school and intense sports schedules. And so I feel like for me, when you speak to that, that really resonates as well because they are incredible. And I know they want to do these things professionally and who knows, they totally could. Yes. But like bigger picture, looking at where it's going to take them in life, you know?
Well, on the other side, which I think is equally as important, is I took a lot away from gymnastics that was not positive.
Yes, that is a great reminder.
I did not understand consent.
Yep.
I was told you get up and go, or you get off my beam. You get up and go, or you'll be shamed. And so what I've noticed around confidence is that it comes from having a voice. And if I were 14 on a beam going, this doesn't feel right. Yes, I know I already won a meet with this skill. But for some reason today, in this growth spurting body with this overactive fear response, I don't feel safe right now.
Interesting.
And I just had to suck it up and go.
Yep.
Which then I didn't learn until my 20s that you actually can turn to the grown up and say, excuse me, I don't feel confident enough right now.
Yes.
Can I try this first?
I love that.
Can you stand here next to me? Or so what I want my girls to know is confidence is knowing when you are not confident enough to try. And then asking for what you need.
Yes.
Which otherwise you end up with all this baggage of my back hurts, my ankles hurt, my heart hurts. I don't know if I can say yes or no. I feel like a failure. It's like having the right skills in the right nurturing environment will carry you all the way into adulthood.
I love that. And I love that wording that you use, the finding your voice, because again, that's a major life skill that they all need, but I always think about the girls. Yeah.
And it's the hardest for the sweetest, smartest, most sensitive because they just don't want to cause problems.
Yeah.
And they don't want to take extra time away from other teammates who might need support.
Totally.
So it's like that freedom to take up a little more space.
I like that. That's really good. That's amazing. Can you share what a mental block actually is for an athlete and why it's so common?
Yes. So my specialty in my business is helping with mental blocks, which is if you watch the 2021 Olympics, Simone Biles had to pull out of vault because she all of a sudden stopped twisting in the air.
Interesting.
And so she's obviously physically capable. And it's crazy talented kids that are very much physically capable, but something happens where their brain sort of malfunctions. And for me, it was I would be going backwards on the beam, and it's like I hit a brick wall. And no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't go back. Or you're trying to let go of the bar, and your hands just literally won't let go. Figure skaters, they feel like they have bricks on their skates. Pole vaulters, they can't lift up. It's in these scary sports. Divers, they can't take off. So it's these kids who can do it and have done it 100 or 1,000 times, and then all of a sudden they can't. And everyone's like, just do it.
Right.
What's the problem?
What's the problem? You've been doing this.
You're better at this than anyone. But what happens is that the brain has detected a threat. And so a lot of the time the kids are like, but I don't feel scared. I don't know why. And it doesn't always feel like fear, but it's the brain has detected a threat, which in an adolescent could be, I didn't eat enough lunch. My foot hurts. My parent is watching me, and I know how emotionally invested they are. Simone Biles, the weight of the world is on my shoulders, and my parents aren't here because it's COVID, and I always look at them, and I don't feel comfortable when they're not here. I mean, people are like, why does it happen? Well, it's 1,000 things, so it doesn't really matter. But the key is they just need confidence back. And the difference between that and, normal anxiety, you're learning a new skill. You're getting in front of a new crowd. You're going to feel nervous.
Totally.
This is where it's irrational. It's like on the level of a phobia.
Interesting.
But I look at it the same, though. Whether it's you're learning a new skill or you're relearning a skill that you're scared of, it's just building confidence. That's the key. And it's temporary. People think of it like, I have a mental block. My world is over.
I love that you say it's temporary.
But I like to change the language to, excuse me, to a temporary dip in confidence.
There we go.
Yeah.
Which any dip in confidence can be temporary with the right perspective on it.
Totally. Oh, I love all of this. This is so helpful. So you work primarily with young athletes. What do you find are some of the biggest pressures they face today?
Oh my gosh.
So
Well, I can tell you the best way to prevent a mental block or performance anxiety has to do with parents and coaches.
Absolutely.
And I worked with all these kids and was like, okay, another level 7 gymnast who's afraid of going backwards on the beam. I know how to help her. Here's the system. Here you go. Wait a second. Why aren't you getting over this fear?
Yes.
This has worked on many, many kids. What's wrong here? And 100% of the time when a kid stayed stuck, it was because of a coach and or a parent.
Yep.
And so my whole mission is to actually eliminate this by creating better coaches.
Yeah.
Better coaches, and then also teaching parents how to support without adding pressure.
Love it.
And this isn't the dad on the sideline screaming. Let me tell you, that's
Totally.
not helpful.
Totally. But not what you're referring to.
No. I mean, that definitely,
maybe.
that's like overt pressure.
Yeah.
But more of what I see is these parents who are like, I just want to give him every opportunity. We're going to get him more private lessons. How are you doing? Did you do the skill today? That's okay. Did you ask your coach? Did you do this?
Yes.
How did it go? And they're just
Their own anxiety, it sounds like.
They care so much, and they want to be helpful. And they're like, I'd chew off my left foot if she'd just go for her back handspring again.
Right.
And I'm like,
That's
that
pressure.
is weighing on your child because your kid's already disappointed that they're underperforming. But they look at you in the stands, gripping the seat, freaking out, pacing, and then, being like so sweet. And then kind of like, oh, you just need to get it together.
Yeah.
What, if you're so miserable, why are we doing this? I just want you to be happy. It's like,
Right.
yes, you want them to be happy, but you're really taking on the emotion of this sport. And your poor 12-year-old can't have their sport and you on their shoulders.
Yep.
And then of course the coach who doesn't listen.
Totally.
That's like a slam dunk for anxiety.
Totally. I will say, because I used to be a dance teacher as well, and my girls have like the best teachers. They are doing an amazing job. And I will say, from my perspective as a mom, that is not my role. Like, I'm here to say you did an amazing job, and that's it.
Yes.
And so it's interesting to hear this this perspective. Yeah, it's great.
I was watching Ruby, who my daughter just started gymnastics.
Wow, that's
at
gonna be fun for
9.
you. Yes,
It's super fun, but it's also flashback to me being
Totally.
the old kid.
Yes,
And the
yes.
kid who started
And the
late,
taller kid.
The taller
Yep.
kid, the string bean who's
Yep.
not made of muscle.
Yep.
And I was like, you love this, right? I hate it. You love it. I hate it. And finally I was like, okay, I give up. And then
Yep.
one day she's like, I want to go to gymnastics.
Of course.
I'm like, okay, whatever. Let's go. Keep her expectations low.
Totally.
But I'm watching her and I'm like, I can think a lot of thoughts in my head as long as they don't come out of my mouth.
Totally.
I can be like, ooh, she needs to point her toes. Oh, if she just squeeze her thighs, she would not wobble. Oh, maybe if I'm like, gosh, she's taller. Nope, that one's taller than her. How old are those girls? I'm like doing the whole thing, this 1 hour of her rec gymnastics class.
Yep.
And then I walk out and I'm like, you're working so hard. I'm so proud of you. What do you
There
want
you
for
go.
dinner?
There you go. That's our job.
That's it.
We're the cheerleaders.
We get to have our experience as parents. We get to share it with other parents who get it.
Yeah.
And then with our kids, it's like we just praise effort, praise
I
progress,
like that praise effort.
and feed them.
Yep. And feed them.
And drive and pay.
I'm a big feeder.
That's all they want.
Yes,
That's
especially
literally
for a long
all
day.
they want from you is food.
Well, and we don't know what their coach has already told them, right? So then here we come chiming in, and then there's even more. And
Well, that specifically is a big issue because if the coach says to do it one way,
Yes.
I haven't coached in 10 years
Yes.
and things have changed.
Yeah.
I might think that this is what you need to do. So I tell you that, coach tells you this, then they hit the competition floor and they're like, who am I going to let down?
Totally.
Who am I going
lot
to
of
disappoint
pressure.
right now?
Yeah, it's
because
a lot of
I'm
pressure.
going to fail in somebody's eyes. So even if you think you know, I think like former athletes are the worst as sport parents.
Oh my gosh, for sure.
Because we just have to be like, clap and thumbs up
Totally.
and food. Repeat.
I love it. That's so funny. I think Cara's giggling over there because I always tell her about the food from competition weekend. I'm like, and then I brought this, and then I brought this.
So therefore, you're nailing it, Amy.
And then I had my cooler.
Yes, that's A+.
Too funny. I'm big on food. So your coaching style is very values-based. Can you share some like core values that guide your work?
Yes. Number one, this is with my team that I manage and with my athletes, humans first, results second.
Love.
And you can look at sport organizations and very quickly see what's in the first place spot. Is it results or is it humans?
Yeah.
And in my family, humans first, 100%. I want my little 9-year-old to take her time and do whatever she wants. And if she falls out of love with it, amazing. If she wants to be on the team, great.
Right.
It's what is going to be growing her as a human and allowing her to stretch herself. But if there's ever a moment where I'm like, she needs to move up because she can do better, or why didn't she win, or, you know, going online to those like Judge My Routine websites so they can,
gosh, that's a thing.
so they can see what are the corrections that they need to make so that I can tell her in the kitchen what she needs to fix. Like, no.
Wow.
And you look at certain, you know, certain clubs, private sport clubs,
Totally.
and you know the ones that are results first.
Absolutely.
At tryouts.
Absolutely.
It's obvious. You watch a practice, you can see what is in the driver's seat here, in my family, in my business, in my team. It's humans first.
Yep.
So,
I love that.
like every year, I always joke somebody on my team is pregnant, and I'm like, "Great, baby's in the staff meeting." Like this is,
oh, that sounds fun.
it's you know, fun and kind of like tricky, right, as a business
Totally.
owner. But at the same time, I can't have that value for the kids I coach and not carry it into my own business and say, bring on the baby.
Yeah, right.
Bring
We
them
will
in.
figure it out.
You work whatever hours you want.
Yeah.
Let's make this possible for you.
Totally. I love that you mentioned your team. Tell me more like about the team, the size, where they all are from, all the things.
Yes. So I have the coolest team of all young women.
Awesome.
I take a lot of pride in this woman-owned and operated business that
love it.
really primarily serves female athletes. We love boys.
Yeah.
But we just, you know, that's sort of our,
gravitate
that's
that
our
way.
sweet spot because that's us. So they're all former gymnasts or former figure skaters, but for the most part gymnasts.
Yeah.
And they all have experience like me.
Wow.
Where one of them was the best. She was on the national team. She was the captain of University of Michigan gymnastics team. And she's just this like super hot shot.
Wow.
And then, you know, another one was a sort of mediocre gymnast like me, was and danced in college. So she's great with our dancers.
Yes.
And it's just this very cool crew of coaches. So I can make sure we match people with the right time zones.
Totally.
And, you know, one's in Oklahoma and one's in Virginia and we've got Florida. And
Brilliant.
my social media manager's in Australia.
Wow.
My virtual assistant's in Canada.
Yeah.
We're this
How cool.
worldwide company of young, cool women.
That's awesome.
And it's the absolute best. I get off my little Zoom meetings and I'm like, heart hands. Like, I love you all so much.
Because you all have the same common goal, you know?
We are very
Yeah.
mission focused.
Yeah.
And it's all about making sports a safer place for young girls, basically.
Yeah. I love that. That's amazing. So not only do you have this whole business, I definitely want to talk about the book you wrote. So you wrote Parenting Through Mental Blocks. Was there a pivotal moment that kind of pushed you? I mean, we spoke a little bit to parents being, I don't want to say part of the problem, but you know what I mean.
The problem. Parents are the
Parents are the problem.
And myself
Totally.
included.
Totally.
Like, I have researched this for 10 years, and I just am having these car rides with my kid and being like, this is the final
what they're talking
exam. This is when I put my
Right.
money where my mouth is.
Well, and I'm sure everybody has the best intentions, right?
Yes.
So it's not like you're an awful parent. It's like that maybe this isn't the right approach.
Everybody wants the same thing. The abusive coach, the
Totally.
dad on the sidelines,
Totally.
the mom with the cooler. We
Yep.
all want our kids to be successful.
Yeah.
That's what we
Totally.
want. It's some of us have a more efficient approach.
There you go.
And it's not intuitive.
Totally.
This like giving and asking and being and, you know, that is not it.
Yeah.
It just isn't. So after I had enough kids who were staying stuck because of a very well-meaning, very loving parent, I created a course online for parents. And then I wanted to make it more accessible. So I took that and then I added in, you know, just a lot of mindset, like growth mindset stuff. Carol Dweck, if you haven't read the book Mindset by Carol Dweck,
Ooh, okay.
and you are a sport parent, get it on Audible and listen to it immediately.
Okay.
It's about creating a mindset in your family. This is where I really go in the book. And in your family where we love challenges. You know,
that's
like,
so good.
oh, you got the terrible teacher. Instead of being the, you know, my knee jerk, which is like email time.
Totally.
I'm going to
We're getting you out of this class.
We're going to switch to, we're moving to Africa, you know, whatever, to like
Totally.
make you okay. It's
Yeah.
like, okay, let's find the good here.
Yep.
I'm going to own my own discomfort around my baggage in my childhood.
Yep.
We're going to talk this through at your pace, and we're going to learn from this great challenge. that, your kid didn't move up a level. Awesome.
Yeah.
We love a challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, now
There we
you're
go.
in
I
a
love
leadership role. What's that going to look like? Instead of like being the mom who's like, we got to move her up. What are we going to do? We're switching gyms. We don't like this coach. They don't like us. It's we look for the growth opportunities in every moment. And when a kid can do that, then they go, all right, I am freezing up on this skill. What's the lesson?
Yeah.
What's the wisdom I can take from this? Okay, I'm checking in with myself and going, I think I need to take a step back, or I think I need to pause, or I need to examine the way I'm talking to myself. So as parents, when we set that context in how we have every conversation of like, awesome, I love a setback. Setbacks are the best. You know, imagine that. If you really, truly had that perspective, then your adult, grown-up kid doesn't get the job.
Which is going to happen.
And they already sat in the mud around not getting moved up to that level, and they survived.
Yes.
And they learned, and they became a leader.
Yes.
And they, all of those things are so important that's like when parents get that, oh my gosh, the kid can like exhale and just take it one day at a time.
I love that so much. That's so good. So good. And such good reminders. So good. So again, that book is Parenting Through Mental Blocks. I found it on Amazon. I don't know if you have it anywhere else.
Amazon is the place.
Perfect.
And you don't have to necessarily have a kid who's experiencing a mental block.
No, it's just good parenting wisdom.
It's just parenting wisdom.
Yeah.
So any kid who's a little on the higher anxiety side, who's an athlete.
Which is a lot of them right now.
Yeah. 1 in 4.
1 in 4. That is crazy. No, I agree. That's amazing. I love this next question I have for you. How can parents tell the difference between a mental block and just normal resistance or nerves?
Yes. So,
or even just being over their sport.
And that's tricky. So as far as the, like, do they want to quit and they're pulling back and hesitating because of it, I always default to what are they saying with their words. If they are saying, Mom, I want to quit, this isn't fun anymore, great.
Yeah.
Have that conversation. A lot of the time parents jump to, if you're not having fun, we don't have to keep doing this. And what kids hear when they hear that is, my mom doesn't think I have what it takes to get through this challenge. Maybe they think I'm not good enough and I should give up. So any kid who's at least 10 or over, that train has left the station and you are on it until they say, let's get off. I know that tuition increases and everything gets harder and more expensive and farther away and more time consuming. But once they're, you signed your name on that, put her on the competitive team paper. Then, he or she's the one who gets to say, I want to quit. So don't ever let that be your question to them. That's my advice. Because typically when fear's involved, they're looking like they're not trying. They're looking like they're hesitating. They're looking like they're not having fun. But if you ask that kid, they'll be like, what? I love my sport.
Right.
And you're like, that's insane that you would love this when you're so obviously miserable. But take their word for it. And just go, okay, great. This is what love looks like. Okie dokie. What do you want to eat for dinner?
Back to the dinner plan.
I mean, really. Really. Where do you need me to drop you off?
Totally.
Where shall I send the check? That's your job. But as far as mental blocks versus anxiety, when you are learning something new, naturally your comfort zone is stretching. And you have the sensations in your body and you get up to bat for the first time. Things are going to be scary, which I love that. I want that for my kids.
Oh, absolutely.
I want my kids to be out of their comfort zone and successful for as many minutes of their life as possible. Because that's what makes them great, tough humans. When they are, hitting that wall of something that they have been able to do successfully 1,000 times, that's when it's something where you go, okay, there is a big perceived threat here.
There you go.
Which could be fear of failure. Often it's just like the pressure of their own expectations. These kids come off a really great season and then they start underperforming. That's when
or move up an age level or something.
Where a new challenge comes in, new pressure, new coach, new teammates, if they're being bullied or just it feels less emotionally safe. That's when this is likely to happen. But regardless, remember it's a temporary dip in confidence.
I love temporary.
And you just help them stretch their comfort zone to a meaningful, manageable level. That's really what I teach is that a lot of the time they're like, get up on the high beam and go. And you freeze. Well, they need to go on the low beam for right now.
There you go.
They need a small challenge. So that might mean talking to the coach and going, is it possible for there to be a slightly reduced expectation for a little while so that they can feel successful? And then there's, then we're cheering about that. And they're like, wait, why are you complimenting me? I'm doing half as well. You're like, you're doing half better than you were last week.
Yeah. I love that.
And again, that's that growth mindset of let's be in the process. It's not where you used to be to today that we're judging. It's where you started today and where you ended today. So you start where you are, even if that's way far back, and you get a little bit better with every turn, with every attempt, with every play. And then they're not going to be freaked out because they're going to start paying attention to the day-by-day progress, which all adds up.
So good. Again, for me, it always relates back to like the life skills. Like that is the goal for this. They're most likely not going to be all professional athletes, right? No. But like we're teaching you to feel this, not the mental block, but feel the fear and like approach the challenge anyways, because that's otherwise everything in life is so like, think of how many challenges we've all been through, right?
Today.
And if you just run away from them, exactly.
Well, and where did we get our biggest wisdom in life? From our biggest crash and burn.
Totally.
And I look back on those moments in my life where I'm like, wow, that was so painful. It was so hard. I disappointed myself and others, and I can honestly look back and go, I wouldn't do it any other way. Because the person I am on the other side is like, okay, I can do hard things.
Exactly.
Bring it on. Let's take another risk.
I mean, and what a gift to like give to our kids, really, because again, there's life past 18 and sports.
A lot of it. This is the tiniest little dot on the line.
Dot. So if they can kind of get these skills now, again, not necessarily their sports skills, but the overcoming. I love it. So what are some practical things, and I know your book will talk about this as well, that parents can do to support their children and their mental health with sports without being pushy or super over involved? We talked about, almost to me, it sounds more like a laid back stance to all of it.
Yes. When in doubt, less is more.
Less is more. I like it.
And one of my favorite little techniques for parenting, this also works on husbands.
Ooh, tell us more.
You repeat their words back to them. So we think of sports as this place that is supposed to be pushing them out of their comfort zone.
Right.
That coach is they're supposed to hate their coach sometimes.
Totally.
Because their job is to stretch them.
Totally.
And push them and see the potential. And they have a contract where it's like, okay, you want to rise to this level? And the kid goes, yes, I do. And the coach goes, well, are you willing to put in the work? And the kid says, yes, I am. And then they're on this mission that's going to involve your kid being sad or hurt or mad or disappointed, which is all part of that challenge we love.
Right.
And then they come to you and you are the soft place to land.
I like that, the soft place to land.
Because they have already their nervous system has been firing for the last, 1 to 4 hours, depending on their sport. They come to you, the last thing they want is, how did it go? Tell me about it. What was hard? Blah, 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 blah. And so they just want you to be like, what would you like to listen to? Here's something delicious.
Yeah.
I can't say it enough. That's it. They want you catch them. And then if they want to say something to you, don't get too excited.
Yeah.
I know every parent's like, I want the dirt. I didn't watch you. What's happening? Are you okay? Are these tears
Just because we're not
normal?
allowed in dance and like that sort of thing. Football, we can see everything that's going on, but dance, I have
no clue. So you're like, are you okay in there? And then they say something, and you want to be like, oh, I have something for that, right? Because we're so smart. We've had this.
We know all the things.
We know
right?
these things. We've done this. We are the wise, all-knowing parent.
Okay, I've definitely said that. Mistake number one. I've been like, I've been there. Yeah, no, okay, maybe not.
I know. Well, there is a way.
Good. Okay,
so
good.
instead of being like, here's what you should do,
Right.
You just repeat their words back to them. So if they go, I think my coach hates me. I'm the worst.
Totally have heard this.
What do we want to do? Oh my gosh, look at these videos. Look how beautiful you are. You're the best I've ever seen.
Totally.
And they're like, roll their eyes and are like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
Instead, you're like, oh, sounds like you think your coach hates you and you are the absolute worst. Tell me more.
Yeah.
And when they hear the words you say, they hear their words, they can be like, oh, that's a little dramatic, I guess. Like,
oh, I love that perspective.
I don't know if I meant it.
Yeah.
Like, now that I'm hearing you say, I'm not the worst. I mean, like, I was okay at this.
Right.
Their job as adolescents is to push back against us. So if we say their words, they're going to push back against those too.
Great.
And then they tell you, maybe a little more, and you repeat that back. And ask open-ended questions like, oh, what was that like? Or what do you think the reasoning was for that. And also always be asking permission. Like, do you want to talk about this? Is this okay to, I know you just got done at practice. If you don't want to talk, don't worry.
Yeah, that's great.
You're getting their consent.
Yeah.
And then they're like, yes, and blah, blah, blah. And then you just keep repeating, and they will find their own solution. Try it out. That's my challenge,
I'm gonna
parents.
definitely use that.
And with husbands, it's so great.
I love
they're like,
this.
my boss is so stupid. I'm like, oh, your boss sounds so stupid. Even though I'm like, I know you caused this problem.
Your boss is not stupid.
You are also quite a piece of work in this situation.
I live with you.
I know how hard you are to deal with sometimes, but I'm just like,
Totally.
this is
repeating
how
it back.
Repeat it back, and then
Okay.
they feel understood. And that is what someone in between the ages of 10 and 16 wants most in their whole world, is to feel understood.
Yeah.
Even if you completely disagree and you think what they're saying is not productive, useful,
Totally.
anything. But try that, because
that's
then
great.
they trust you.
Yeah.
They also trust you're not going to try to solve their problems, but they want to and
Yeah.
developmentally need to be solving for themselves.
Yeah.
So then you're just their sounding board,
Yeah.
and you got to bite your tongue.
That's so good, because I have learned this as we've entered teen. I'm like a problem solver. That's not what's wanted.
Yeah.
So I learned this from a friend. I always say, are you like, because all of our kids tend to just like, as soon as they get in the car, explode with all the things, like word vomit, all the things. And so I'm learning. I can't say I've learned, because my kids are going to listen to this and they're going to be like, no. I'm working on being like, are you trying to vent or are you looking for a solution? Yes. Like, because then that way I know what to approach. Either one's fine, but like, which one are you looking for from me?
This is especially important for, I know there are parents out there who coach their own kids.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's so hard.
If at all possible, don't do it.
Yeah.
Especially when you get in, beyond the rec level. Don't do it. This is from like Olympian coach who coached her own daughter. She's like, don't do it.
Yeah.
But if you do, you got to say, okay, which hat do you want me to wear right now? Coach, parent, friend,
That's great.
listener, you pick. And then they choose, and then you put that hat on, and that's how you speak.
And they have the control, which is so important. Yeah.
And they might say, I don't want to talk at all. And you go, okay, no problem.
Wow, that's super helpful little nuggets of advice that we all need. I may have to listen to this podcast every day. So what advice do you have for parents? Because we're hearing like what's going to be, beneficial to the kids, but also the parenting role is so stressful. It shouldn't be, but it is on the sports side of things. So what advice do you have for parents who are watching their children struggle and feel totally helpless?
Yes. Okay. I don't know if you follow Dr. Becky Kennedy.
No. Should I?
Oh, she's great. She wrote a
Okay.
book called Good Inside.
Ooh.
And I love her methods. And one of them, she talks about this schoolyard of life, where you imagine, look out your schoolyard and there's benches that you can sit on. And one of the benches is, I moved up to the next level bench. And then there's the I didn't move up, or I got dumped by my girlfriend bench. Or, you've got all of the potential scenarios, but from now till they leave your home of the benches that are in their schoolyard. And so the parents' typical knee-jerk reaction is to go, oh, we're going to scoot you off the bad teacher bench and onto the good teacher bench.
Right.
We're going to take you off the mean coach bench and stick you on the nice coach bench. We're going to take you off the fail bench and, throw tutors at you, and we're going to get you onto the smart person bench,
Yeah.
because we don't want to see you in pain.
Right.
And what happens is that those kids don't know how to handle hard things.
Yes.
They are not as resilient. They're not as creative. They are always looking to you.
Yep.
So what we
is so
want to
good.
do is go, you are on the I failed a test bench. I'm going to sit next to you on that bench. And we're going to be on that bench together. But it's your bench to be
Yeah.
on. And then you're
this
going to
is
get
so
to the
good.
other side and go, okay, one time I failed a test, and then I went on my own and asked if there was extra credit, and I got that figured out, and then I moved on. And it didn't kill me.
Yeah.
And that's what our kids need from us, is
love
to
this.
sit, or another, I can't remember who, I can't credit this one, but they say
Yeah.
sit in the mud with them. You're on the disappointment bench. You're in the disappointment mud. I'm here. I'm not afraid of your feelings. You are screaming and you're mad and like I'm repeating your words back and I'm showing you that I see your energy and I'm not trying to solve this for you.
Right.
That's the way we can support mental health, and then also successful kids in college, because they forgot their goggles at the swim meet in 7th grade.
Yeah.
I know a kid whose mom had he even said, I have learned helplessness from my mom because I have ADHD and she does everything for me.
Totally.
He went to college and forgot his goggles at his college swim meet.
Yeah, because he didn't have that skill.
No,
Yeah.
he didn't have to.
Yeah.
He never sat on that bench if I forgot my goggles.
Yep.
That's why my little girls, I feel like the worst parent in the world, but I was like,
No.
In kindergarten, you
Yeah.
get one forgot backpack.
Yeah. Oh, I'm the same. Yeah.
And then you're just not going to have your lunch and you have to get hot lunch and you have to just drink out of a cup. And
Totally.
if you forget your backpack, I'll bring it to you one time.
I like it.
And each of them forgot it one time and
Yeah.
have not forgotten since.
See?
And I just go, do you have everything you need? Okay, off we go. Because a kindergartner can cope.
Absolutely. It's funny that you say that too. And I do love that my kids listen to this podcast because they're going to love hearing this. Because I do say like, sorry to be the mean mom, but like my job is to prepare you for life, not for this moment, and to make it easier for you in this moment,
Yeah.
I do remember, and I think this might be why I kind of parent that way. My daughter's preschool was adamant. We are not to grab their stuff. We are not to grab their lunchbox. They are to put their own jacket on. They are to learn how to tie their own shoes. Like, you are not to help with those skills. Like, they are not going to feel, and this is kind of speaking to what you're saying, they're not going to feel confident with those next steps in life if they feel like they're not capable, And so I remember that being a big thing. Like, we were not allowed to grab their jackets and put them on for them. Like, and I remember like, okay, I get that. And that's kind of been moving forward, like how I've kind of approached everything.
I mean, it's easier to grab their stuff.
Totally. Faster. So much faster.
Way more efficient.
Yeah.
But if you invest now and we love a challenge.
Yeah.
Let's see if this little 6-year-old can handle this challenge
Totally.
of make sure your stuff is with you.
Yeah. I love that.
And then she can.
Yeah.
Who knew?
And then how good does she feel about herself after? You know? Yeah.
And then it's amazing to never have to not have your backpack at school.
Totally. That is very good. And also amazing for us to not have to drop everything and go bring it.
Oh my gosh. I'm like, great. Between clients, I'm going to
run your
stupid
stuff.
library book back. Like,
Totally. Exactly. Oh, it's so good. What was that book again? I'm sorry. And that was jumping back.
Good Inside.
Good
Dr.
Inside.
Becky
Okay.
Kennedy.
I definitely want to read that one. I know that communication is really important. So what is one question every parent should really ask their athlete regularly?
Honestly, you're going to like roll your eyes.
I like it.
What do you want for dinner?
I love it. See, this is my question.
That's it.
I'm a feeder.
That's it. I mean, so I give myself like a 1 to 2 question maximum. And if the conversation does not get traction, we move on.
So good.
So I'll say, did you have fun? What was your favorite part? What are you most proud of? And that's about it.
Yeah.
And because I want to help them start to identify the good stuff, because it's easy to be like, I messed up on that one thing. It's all they remember. So if I can help them to think of one thing they're proud of, great.
That's great.
And then if they want to talk, amazing. I'm repeating words back. And one thing I wanted to mention was that you said, like, your experience. Like, we do have experience. So when my kid says, like, this girl was trying to make me feel bad because I didn't have my skill yet.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, my gosh, I think I know how you feel.
Yeah.
One time I looked at this woman who was so good at my job, and I was like, ugh, I'm the worst.
Yep.
And I felt so jealous. But then I learned that you can either be jealous or be inspired and be like, I want to learn what she's doing. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And then it actually increases your confidence. And I was like, does that feel like what it's like for you? And she's like, yeah, I think so.
So good.
So I haven't given her any advice. I haven't said, well, just try not to compare yourself. Compare equals despair. I'm not saying, I'm like, this is my
Real life.
experience of a similar thing. Maybe you can relate to that. Anywho, and they get those little nuggets and they can choose to pick them up or not.
Yep.
And that's a great way to give advice without giving advice.
Oh, it's so good. I love that. I mean, I'll also just like kind of keep you in my car all day long. Does that work?
I have a
You've
podcast.
Got time, right? That's true. Just play your podcast in the car. Do you want to go ahead and pitch your podcast too?
Sure.
Yeah. What is your podcast title?
It is called Perform Happy with Rebecca Smith.
Perfect.
And I interview a lot of like really cool gymnasts. Like, so if you're a gymnastics nerd, it's the thing. We have like really great collegiate coaches. Lots of sports psychologists.
That's so cool.
But it's all mostly for parents. So you can get a lot. If you're a sport parent, you can get a lot out of it.
Oh, I love it. What's one success story that has really stuck with you where like a young athlete really broke through a tough mental block?
Oh my gosh, so many of them. But
love hearing
one
that.
that's on my mind is a girl who, she's sort of like the tragic case of so talented, always had potential, was always told she had potential, and then she gets injured.
My gosh.
Then she comes back from injury and is playing catch up, and then she gets injured. Then she comes back from, repeat. It basically was this cycle all the way till she is a senior in high school, wanted to go to college for gymnastics. She's a level lower than she needed to be in order to be recruited. But she did not give up. And they threw the book at it. They're like, okay, we're going to work on recruiting strategies. We're going to work on nutrition. We're going to work on, we're going to just give every opportunity that we can to get you your dream. Mom was like, I believe in your dream.
Totally.
We'll do what we can. And so what we had to do was untangle this story of, when am I going to get hurt again?
Because that's a major fear.
Oh my
You've
gosh.
been through it so many times.
Yes, fear of injury is one of the main causes of injury.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. You're tensing up. Yeah.
And so she and her parents were like, we're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Oh, she's having a good week. Maybe, oh gosh, I hope she can stay healthy. It was this total story in their family.
Yeah.
So we worked on dismantling that. I was like, are you injured? She's like, well, no. I'm like, okay, let's be not injured. Can we just be not injured? Are you healthy?
Yeah, totally.
She's just waiting for that. And so once she was able to really see that story had taken over her identity as an athlete, she dismantled that. And she was in a gym, a coaching environment that was not nurturing.
Yeah.
It was toxic. And that's the quickest way to get your skills back if you have a mental block is get to an environment where your kids are being nurtured and listened to.
I love that. Yeah, that's great advice.
She switched. And one thing we did was I was like, what do you want? Why do you want college? She's like, well, I want the team atmosphere. I want the camaraderie. I want to feel proud of myself. I want, she gave me this list and I was like, could you have that now? In this new gym, she had the camaraderie. She was part of a team. She was proud of herself. She was making progress. I was like, girl, you already have it. You already have what you want. It's like, chills.
Such a good lesson. Yeah.
But then she looked around and was like, oh my gosh, you're right. I have everything I've ever asked for in this sport right now in my senior year. And then she's just been on fire.
Wow.
She's going to nationals this weekend and doing amazing.
Yeah.
And it just
that's so cool.
There's always hope.
Yeah.
Oh,
for sure.
And so many parents are like, when do we tell them that it's not possible and sort of give up on the dream?
Right.
I'm like, never.
You don't.
No, because she could have taken a gap year.
Totally.
There's Chelsea Memel went to, any gymnastics nerds, went and competed in elite gymnastics at age 31.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
And I thought I was too old at 12.
Yeah, right? That's incredible.
There's always enough time if you keep at it. That's that growth mindset.
Definitely. That just hearing you say all of that too and being almost like the mirror for her and reflecting that back to her, I think that's why your services are so important because as parents, as athletes, we do get stuck in all this. We get tunnel vision and it's really nice to have somebody else be like, here's what I see, and that's amazing. So.
Well, and the family story is so important to the kids' confidence.
Yes, huge.
I think of Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights.
Totally.
They're not first or last. It's that's their family story.
Totally.
And so you kind of have to take a look and go, well, what's ours?
Yeah.
And mine is we can do hard things. We finish what we start. We just stretch our comfort zone little by little.
So good.
Just get a little better. I'm really trying to embody what I teach. And my kids are proud of themselves.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you're in such a good position because, again, you lived through all of this as an athlete, but also you're a parent, so you can see how hard this is.
So hard.
It's so hard. Yeah, so
Even
it's
with
great to have
all
that.
the knowledge. I'm like, deep breaths.
Totally.
What am I supposed to say?
What did I say to that other client?
Here we go. I know.
Totally.
Exactly.
I need to take my advice. Yeah, no, it's so true.
Less is more, less is more, less is more.
Yes.
Exactly.
Too funny. So what does a happy athlete mean to you, and what does it look like?
So my company is called Perform Happy. And so I think of it like a 1 to 4 scale on each of those. And I ask my kids, so I have online group trainings every week, and I ask them to rate themselves. What's your P score, your Perform score, and what's your Happy score? And they'll go, okay, so 1 is you're blocked, you can't do anything. And then 4 is you're thriving, you're doing all your level skills and you're upgrading. And then Happy is, you're miserable in your sport, you're crying all the time, you're not getting along with your coach or your parent. And then 4 is you're loving your sport and you're getting along great with the people around you. The relationships are so key in that happy factor that you're bonding with your parent, you're communicating with your coach, and you're just feeling joyful in your sport. Yeah. And I think there's this misconception that you can have only the perform or the happy. That you're everyone gets a trophy, but nobody's good.
Right.
Or you take it seriously and you lost.
Yeah.
But I believe thoroughly. And that's what on my podcast, that's my goal, is to talk to athletes who have proven that it's possible to do both.
Amazing.
That you can have a voice, you can have coaches who listen, and you can win.
Have fun and be winning.
And win.
Yeah.
Because that's also a really fun part of sports.
And it does make you a little bit happy.
Exactly. That's why I love this story coming out of Redwood Empire with this girl who's like
so cool.
winning. Like every D1 school is barking up her tree right now.
Amazing.
And she's super happy in a beautiful culture.
Yeah.
With great friends. And like, what an amazing story to watch unfold.
Totally. That is so great. So coming off work a little bit, what are 3 fun facts about you, Rebecca, personally?
Oh my gosh. Well, I have to start with dogs because I'm currently covered in dog hair.
We all are in this office. Do not judge any of us.
I have my little white lap dog who likes to be on my lap all the time. My little
should have brought them. I should have told you we're a very dog-friendly office.
Well,
yes, I should have told you
She would have been good, actually.
Yeah,
She's like the perfect little quiet lap dog.
Yeah.
And then my big, enormous 90-pound black fur ball. So we have all of the colors of hair in the house.
I mean, it only makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a cat and 2 kids. It's basically a zoo.
It's totally normal.
Yeah. Yes.
Do they snuggle, the big dog and the little dog?
Yes. The little one goes like under her chin.
Yeah. Oh, like a little pillow.
In my office, and I have this fake tree, and so sometimes the tree will just go like boom, over onto my couch, which is why we went to fake.
Yeah,
after
that makes
enough
sense.
tip
After some
overs.
soil. Yeah,
exactly. But the dogs are always like smashed in behind
that's
it.
So cute.
So so dogs.
love that.
I got to go to Singapore over
that's
Thanksgiving to work with their national team.
Stop.
They
That's amazing.
They reached out to me and said that they wanted to overhaul their culture.
That's incredible.
Which I was like, are you kidding me? You're flying me to Singapore so that I can help you embody a better culture and work with really cool young athletes.
Which is like a huge challenge for you, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That you need to like, you know, like you're also demonstrating to your athletes, like we can do hard things. This is a big task.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was so excited.
That's so cool.
And it was like, that was where I was like, okay, part of my heart is in speaking and in helping overhaul culture in general.
Wow.
Like to go to a country at the top
Yeah.
and be like, this is how coaches should coach.
Yeah.
Was amazing.
It's such a cool opportunity.
Gosh, a third fun fact. I don't know if I'm fun enough for this, Amy.
I mean, you're really fun because I know you outside of this too. You're fun. You like to work out. I know that.
Oh my gosh, Body Rock.
You got a great family. Body Rock's amazing.
We got to plug
for
Body Rock. I'm currently sore from Body Rock.
Good. Who taught? Should we do a plug for the teacher? Do you remember?
Kelly.
Duh.
Yeah.
Duh. She's one of, I mean, they're all amazing. I can't say favorites, but Kelly's amazing.
I look at the women after and we're all like, what did we just do to ourselves? And I'm like, we all signed up for Kelly.
Yeah, we signed up for Kelly.
We all like a challenge.
Yeah, we're all limping our way out of here.
So I'm like,
in the best way.
Bring it on. Yes.
In the best way.
Absolutely.
Yes. Oh, and she's such an inspiration
Work
herself.
my mental toughness every day.
I love it. Yes. See, you are practicing what you preach.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I try.
All right, Body Rock is your third fun fact, and I love it. I'm there for it. Is there anything that I might have missed that you would like listeners to know?
Oh my gosh, I feel like we covered it.
Good. I tried to be very thorough.
Yes.
Yay, gold star for me.
Mm-hmm.
Where can my listeners find you?
Instagram is a great place. It's at complete_performance. And I have all kinds of parent tips and fun videos of gymnasts doing cool stuff and just like trying to find the happy in the performance.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much for coming on. I'm going to be like repeating this episode over and over again. So thank you.
Thanks for having me, for considering me a local business.
Absolutely, you are. And I hope too, and I know obviously you are so booked up and you're so worldwide, but I hope a lot of local people find you as well because it's really important for everybody here.
Yes, and I have a team.
And you have a team,
I have an incredible team who are all, who have different specialties. So like I've got the baseball lady and I've got the volleyball chick. And so we are able to help a wider range of athletes as a result. Which
Brilliant. I love it. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you for listening.
If you like what you hear, please be sure to like and subscribe, learn more about Sonoma County and all that we have to offer here.